This was only the beginning of the state's woes. One of their own would become a whistleblower and attempt to bring light to the extent of the state's massive cover-up. Malcolm Bell was a former soldier who had been deployed to West Germany for a number of years. After his honorable discharge, he decided to try his hand at law. He deeply desired to make a difference and to do the right thing. He found himself in banking law, but this was not the place he wanted to be. After seeing an ad in the local paper seeking prosecutors, he threw his hat in the ring. To his surprise, he was invited onto the state's legal team. He believed, above all else, in justice. He also believed that no one was above the law. In all this time, not a single state trooper or CO had had charges brought against them. Considering state troopers were responsible for a vast majority of the violence which occurred during the retaking, Bell considered this strange. Surely the state would attempt to indict officers who went above the law, right? However, when he delved deeper into the evidence, Bell was shocked. The ways in which the state and prison officials had covered up their many crimes was extensive and insidious. What horrified Bell the most was the death of the hostages. Many hostages did not die on the catwalk. The majority of them died while in the hostage circle of D Yard. This happened after an officer ran in firing on the circle. In response, troopers on the catwalk also began unloading their weapons. In a matter of minutes, thousands of pellets were strewn all over the hostage circle. It was a miracle any of them had escaped with their lives. Upon looking at the deaths of the prisoners, the evidence of unnecessary violence committed by the state was insurmountable. Sam Melville was killed when troopers claimed he was carrying a, quote, basket of Molotov cocktails, unquote. Upon investigation, no such basket was found. What was worse, Melville's wounds were treatable. It seemed he was callously allowed to bleed to death. James Robinson was felled by a .270 bullet in the initial barrage of gunfire on the catwalks. He was barely clinging to life when a trooper with a shotgun came across his body and fired a single round into the man's neck, killing him instantly. In the documents which detailed the retaking, there was a photo of Robinson, dead on the ground, with nothing in his hands. Another photo, presumably taken moments later, shows Robinson now clutching a small sword. Bell set about the monumental task of bringing charges against the officers he believed acted with no provocation. In each case he attempted to bring before the grand jury, he was denied the opportunity to seek justice. The jury felt it was not even worth discussing the possibility that the state police force had in any way overreached. As each case was refused, more and more state officials testified in order to obtain immunity. These same people could have been charged with reckless endangerment and conspiracy. Instead, their necks were saved by the same investigators who were supposedly looking into the wrongdoing. Bell understood that prosecutors and police were natural allies, but he just couldn't understand what that had to do with breaking the law with such little regard for human life. After countless hours of work and frustration, Malcolm Bell was finally fed up. He was already being ostracized by his colleagues, and he was increasingly at odds with Simonetti, who insisted on bringing prisoners to trial with zero evidence to support his claims. Bell prepared a massive report, which he immediately sent to the new governor. After waiting for weeks for a response and hearing nothing back, Bell went to the New York Times as a last resort. He handed his damning report to Tom Wicker. When it was released to the public, the floodgates were opened. Officials ordered up another commission to be sent in to investigate Attica and the alleged cover-up.